Well, everyone, welcome to the greenery this evening. Spring is emerging. What a gorgeous night we have out there. Thank you, Melbourne, for not raining and for really being a very appropriate evening to celebrate us getting out and about and seeing gorgeous colour on our walls and flowers again. I'd like you to welcome Rachael Little. She is one of the artists that we're featuring in our first exhibition. And Rachel's going to be answering some questions. We're going to have a quick half-hour discussion about her background and work and love of gardens. So we're very lucky to have Rachael. Thank you for coming in.
My pleasure.
Okay, good. Just to start off, if you could give us just an idea about your background, your art background, how you got into art, did you study, also really what you paint in and what mediums you use.
Right, well, I studied fine art and visual arts. But before that, I sort of, I was really interested in art at school, but struggled to sort of get into it. And I think in year 11, when I was about a 16-year-old, and everyone was doing these amazing paintings, and I had a Russian girl that was really doing these intricate things, and I was sort of, but they were very brown, and I sort of thought, oh God, this is not what I wanted to be doing. I want bright and abstract and sort of Kandinsky's and Monet's, and I wasn't really allowed to do that sort of stuff.
Okay.
But then my art teacher was saying, come on, give it a go, this is what you want to do. So I went for it, and I was doing these gorgeous, bright, layered paintings with lots of colour coming through, and she was so thrilled that she threw me a party, because she wasn't expecting it. So it was good.
How nice.
It was a really good start.
And from the age of 16, you were doing that at school age?
Oh, look, I was always pretty arty. Mum and Dad sent me to, during school holidays when I was little, sort of, 7 and 8, to little painting sessions at, the Melbourne Gallery, sort of Artist Society. And that's a vivid one. But I've just always been into it.
Have you always painted in the same medium and then used the same materials?
Oh no, I painted in oils for a while.
Okay.
Certainly at school, I did a lot of oil painting. But it's so messy and stinky, and you really have to be on your ball.
Yeah.
So recently, when I've got back into painting, it's all been acrylic, because I've got a family at home, and where I paint couldn't be any more slap bang in the middle of your house.
Okay. Yeah.
So I've got a kitchen one end, a family room one end, and in the middle of the house I've got this gorgeous chandelier and a nice big table, and trestle tables and easels. And it's done right in the middle. Okay. Yep. So if you want dinner, it's on your lap or at the bench.
And what was the party that the teacher gave you?
Oh,
where was it? At school?
It was at school.
Okay,
yeah. So it was at school, and it was lollies and junk food, and a few Diet Cokes thrown in for good measure. Yeah. Well, that's lovely. And thrown in the glade, which was a beautiful sort of fernery area at school. I loved it. I felt pretty special because everyone else was doing these awesome paintings, and I sort of felt like, I wasn't really producing much. But I did in the end. Okay. Got there. Good. Eventually.
What school was it that you went to?
Oh, it was Loretto in, So,
nice school.
It was a lovely school.
Good.
I loved it.
Good. That's fantastic.
I loved it.
Yeah. And so what you paint is just these gorgeous, full of colour flowers that just to me have movement as well. Like if you walk past them and touch the vase, that all shiver and shake, and so tell us about your love of flowers. Have you always painted flowers, or have you painted other things?
Well, I do on the odd occasion do a tiny little never people.
Okay.
Landscapes, yes. Little tiny ones if I'm at my in-laws farm or I'm at the beach, and I'll just do a little tiny one for myself. Sometimes they might be left as a little gift on the side if I've been staying somewhere. But I think I'd like to get into a bit of landscape. Okay. I just haven't got there. I think when I do it, I'll have to just do them for myself before I let them out to anybody else.
Yeah. Okay.
But for my love of flowers, look, that's been since I was little.
Okay.
Probably even since, well, I was a florist for a while too.
Okay. Yeah.
But when my dad's mother died, she died of cancer and she didn't want bought flowers. So she said, you know, obviously the rule was, or not the rule, garden flowers. And the house that we were living in at the time wasn't overly gardeny.
Okay.
So Mum sent me up the road and I was horrified. I had to knock on their door and ask if we could sort of, you know, pick some flowers for our...
Okay.
Yeah.
So gardens up and down the street.
So gardens up and down the street. And I think that day, after I'd done that, I made bouquets for the funeral.
Yeah. Yeah.
As the token.
Yeah.
And
lovely.
I certainly got into it then. I've always done it.
Yep. Yeah.
But my garden is special.
Okay. Good. Good.
I love
lovely,
it.
Lovely. I did ask Rachel if she'd been to the Greenery just before, and she has been to the Greenery. Not for a while, which is the answer a lot of people give because of COVID and everything like that.
Yeah,
so,
definitely COVID. I think I was here probably when my youngest child was about 4 or 5.
Okay, yeah. Would you have purchased things from here for your garden?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay,
yes, definitely. And sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. But my garden is really old in certain areas. I mean, we've been in there for probably coming up for 20 years.
Okay, yeah.
But the man who had the house before us, he was born in the house and he was an avid gardener and he was a collector of special bulbs and really special pieces. So I've got amazing dogwoods. I had a beautiful deciduous dogwood which carked it over the drought.
Okay, yeah.
Gordonias but the bulbs were pretty special.
Okay.
And my husband's aunt, she's an amazing gardener. She lives in Port Fairy, but she'd come in and she'd say, "Oh, darling, that one's that's very special, and that's a blah, blah, blah," and use the Latin word for it, and I'd be just like over the head. Didn't give it much time.
Have you used dogwoods in your art, just as an off?
I haven't. I haven't, but I think I probably should give dogwood a bit of a burl.
Yeah. One of my favourite writers, Patrick White, lived in Sydney, and his house was named Dogwoods because one of his homes because he had amazing dogwoods in the garden, but he also had a lot of dogs.
Oh.
So it was just this beautiful relationship for him with, and to me they're beautiful trees. Like
they are spectacular.
Lovely. You're very lucky if you have them, I think.
Well, I'm feeling a bit poorly that I've only got one left, and it's a white one.
Okay.
And it gets not overly looked after, but I keep an eye on it and I make sure those pesky possums are not getting to that.
Yeah.
They have a crack at the Gordonia and they've ruined Japanese maples and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's a pretty gorgeous garden and Ken, who started it, was particular with what he chose.
Okay, yeah.
And things have been moved with renovations, you know, big tree ferns, and so there's a lot there.
Yeah, that's wonderful. There. It's great to have a great garden like that.
And funnily enough, he was a collector of Australian pottery and a painter himself and a printmaker.
All right.
So I never knew all of these things until later on down the track.
And that was his original home, his house?
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he grew up in that home, and it's just a little Californian bungalow.
Yeah. Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, it's pretty gorgeous.
It's got a good atmosphere, arty atmosphere, do you think?
Yes. Yeah. Well, really, I mean, when I first spotted the house, and Mum and Dad put me onto it, couldn't have given a continental about the house, really. It was all about the garden.
Oh, wow, that's beautiful.
It had massive camellia trees that were being trashed by the possums again.
Yeah.
But I could spot all these amazing things in there, and I just... Basically, it didn't matter what the house was like.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
It's a bit like that still, I suppose.
Yeah, no, that's
And the garden is how I go for it, yeah.
And when you said your studio was in the middle of the house.
Yes.
So I'm really interested in how people create and the atmosphere and the environment that they create in. So a lot of people, they might need silence, they might need no one around them, they might need lots of people around them. So when you're painting, what's happening in your home? Is it silent or
no?
Never?
No, never silent. Well, sometimes I do permanently walk around with an AirPod or an
Oh,
earpod
right,
or whatever you call them.
Yeah.
It's not the fancy pants
And what are you
one.
listening to?
Anything from the football,
Okay. Yeah.
which I love,
Yeah.
to music.
Yeah.
Anything from Elvis to, oh God, who knows?
Everything. Yeah.
Everything and everything. Podcasts.
Yep.
My kids will bag me, 3AW.
Oh, no,
My
that's
mates
okay.
will bag me too. But yeah, definitely football. Love
And
football.
so, well, you're listening to that while you're painting?
Yeah.
Okay,
Sometimes a lot of music, yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I only ever have one ear in at the one time because
yeah.
kids are roaming and
Yeah.
have to keep an eye on what's going on with all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And sorry, who do you barrack for?
Oh, well, it's
Better be good.
contentious. Well, my family all barrack for Collingwood, my immediate family, but I'm a Bombers supporter, but I've been kind of half converted.
Have you to Collingwood?
Yeah, well, I've got no choice.
Geez. There's a couple of Collingwood people. There's one in particular, she's not here this evening. She's very
Yeah.
Collingwood.
Yeah.
But good luck, you're in a good spot at the moment.
Well, I've loved the footy this year.
Yeah,
It's
I
been
bet
great.
you have.
It's been really good fun.
Yeah, good on you. Well, you know what? I'd never barrack for Collingwood, but I do hope they go far this year.
Oh, yeah,
I'd much
hopefully.
prefer them to other teams that are up there.
See how we go.
Yeah. So would you say football's a passion for you?
Oh,
Because now I want you to tell me about when you're a painter, but I'd like to know if you have any other passions in life that you love doing. It can be football, but yeah.
well, I do. I must admit, well, if I listen to the football pretty much every game, and it doesn't have to be Collingwood, I suppose I do love my footy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a footy chick.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Believe it or not. Look, my garden is definitely one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I love everyone's garden. I mean, when I go for a walk every morning, and I go, early, so I don't have people picking on me, and I'm pooching over their fence and seeing what they're doing and what they've put down and what they've taken out and what's hanging over the fence that I might be able to enjoy.
Is that how you get your flowers for painting?
No, I get a lot of my. Well, yes, I do,
Yeah,
but
some of them.
yeah, and well, camellia season's always awesome, and I've got lots of friends that in the area that I can help myself to their camellias.
Yeah,
and I do.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
And I love it.
Yeah.
But my own garden, I mean, at the moment I've got all sorts of gorgeous things. I mean, it's a great time. So I've got heaps of things budding and blossoming and I'm waiting for. So I've got plenty there. I've got great foliage.
Okay.
So I've got a massive big elm tree that I love, and I can, rather than getting someone to come back and cut it for me, I'm up there with the clipper trying to, get foliage into the house. And
Yeah.
I've got great rhododendrons, so I
beautiful.
enjoyed them. So yeah,
So the objects for your art come from your garden a lot as well.
Or sometimes the Camberwell Flea Market on a Sunday.
Okay, right.
I might buy myself an extra 3 bunches that,
Yeah. I was
it's
going to
good.
ask, do you buy flowers?
Yeah, I do.
And is that the main spot that you would buy them from? Camberwell?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they come in on a Sunday, and if you get there at the right time, you get different things. Beautiful bunches of lily of the valley.
Yeah.
That in the florist might be, $13 for, 6 stems, whereas there I'll get 4 bunches for 50 or whatever it is.
And do you have a sausage? When you
No,
go to the
but I
market?
have a donut.
Do you?
And I've been going there for such a long time that the donut man,
Yeah.
I reckon I've been going there since I was 14.
Okay, yeah.
And
good.
he's been there since I was about 20.
Yeah.
So he knows me.
Yeah.
And I get extra free donuts.
Oh, good
It's
on
great.
you.
I'm not sharing.
It's such a great market.
Yeah.
It is just, we go every now and again, and sometimes when I was younger, it was the hangover cure.
True.
And you just walk around and look at people, and now it's changed a little bit, hasn't it? Like it's very popular. I think it's seen as a bit of a tour, like it's people from out of town go there. There's a lot of tourists there. But and I still look at the flower stalls, and it's such a great place to buy
and
flowers,
look, there's one bloke that I always know on the odd occasion he's going to have really good hellebores.
Yeah, okay.
And they're in big pots.
Yeah.
And he's you know, there's a mixture, and I just know that if I go there at the right time, I might get something pretty special, and they might be, you know, doubles with amazing. Oh, they're gorgeous.
Yeah,
But it's not every time. It's the luck of the draw.
Yeah, that's true.
But
It's
good
exciting.
fun.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just go back to high school or school a
yeah.
bit. So one of my the question is, what were you like in high school? And what I'd like to know is what your reports said.
I can't
and your
remember.
teachers said.
Well, I certainly, I loved school.
Okay. Yep.
I wasn't overly academic, but I didn't, you know, there wasn't a huge amount of work being handed in for the first, you know, years 7, 8 and 9. And then I probably thought, okay, it's time to be a little bit, well, I don't know. I think it just happened, just evolved where you just become a bit more mature. But I loved school. I thought it was really good fun.
Yep. And what were your favourite subjects?
Maths. No, it wasn't really.
I was going to say.
Art, obviously.
Yeah.
I loved, I did drama,
Okay. Yeah.
which was great. And I was
Yeah.
thinking about that the other day. I mean, I'd go into my drama class, and I was, you know, drama class, and then I had some private ones. And our drama teacher, Mrs. Saxon, who was good fun, but she used to smoke in our drama room. I was thinking, imagine if that had happened these days.
Imagine, no way.
Yeah, she's sort of, you walk, oh, hang on, sweetheart, butt it out.
Wow, Mrs. Saxon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
she's no longer with us
No.
for various reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Probably the
definitely
cigarettes,
all
yeah.
of that. Drama. I was in all the musicals.
Yeah.
You know, I was never a lead, but geez, I had fun.
Wow, that's great.
You know, it was great fun.
Yeah.
I loved it the whole way through.
And do you have friends from there now that you're
Oh,
friends?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. A strong group.
Yeah.
I had my 30th reunion this year, so it was 2 years behind.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was the best fun. I loved it.
Oh, good. That's
yeah.
good.
I mean, we're not in each other's pockets.
Yeah.
But thoroughly enjoy all my old school buddies.
Yeah. And would they say, "Oh, yeah, I'm not surprised you're an artist"? Would they? Could you see yourself?
Yes, they
then?
probably wouldn't be surprised.
Okay. Yeah. So you were always that person, even
yes,
at school.
Yeah, definitely. And they were always bright, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely bright.
And can you tell us some of the other painters that you like, some of the other artists that you like? Like, I'm talking about gallery, you know, National Gallery artists. And
Look, I think I've always been into Gauguin because they were sort of abstract Matisse. And, you know, definitely after being Kandinsky was always one that popped out at me. I think we had to go for, you know, it was a pop art exhibition.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, pop art, oh gosh.
Yeah.
And then I was over to looking at other things.
Yeah.
And I was more drawn to them. Because of the colour.
Yeah.
And it was really abstract. You couldn't say what it was. You couldn't say that it was a pot plant or, you know, a box or a house or a landscape. It was just a bit of whatever you wanted it to be, which I loved that.
Yeah. Okay,
and it was the
good.
colour that drew it to me, for sure.
Yeah. And so you had Mrs. Saxon for drama.
Yes.
And have you ever had a mentor in your life? Or have you ever been a mentor to someone else?
Well, no, I haven't been a mentor to somebody else. I don't think so. Not that they've told me.
Okay.
That might come. They might tell me later on down the track.
Yeah.
Mentor. Look, I did have. I mean, my mum is really good. She's amazing with, you know, especially in the art stuff. Especially when I was getting back into it, and I'd send her a screenshot of a painting, and there were lots of them. And she'd say, "Oh, that's a bit nannerish, or that's a bit blue, or that's a bit, you know, full on, or whatever." So I would, you know, and Cara from Foreman's was always really good with directing me into different, you know, oh, you've got to go big, you've got to be more bold, be braver. And I'd say, right, off we go.
Yeah.
And also I worked in a ceramic studio for a few years after I'd sort of been doing different things, and it was pretty kitsch at the time. And Sarah Buckley was good fun, and she painted flowers and they were bright. And so I was sort of working with 4 other girls and Sarah, and she was really lovely to work with because she sort of had this, just, you know, enjoy what you're doing,
Yeah.
make it bright, have fun.
Yeah.
But it was a business for her, so we still had to work hard and be there, and we were firing and glazing, and
Yeah.
it was like a small little workshop.
Yeah, okay.
And we were all painting basically the same thing because orders would come in for shops and for people, and you know, and there was writing on them. I wasn't allowed to do the writing because my spelling was atrocious, and I was way too messy with writing names, and had to be, you know, cast to the side.
Yeah.
So she was really good with the whole business thing because she wasn't, her husband was the business side of it.
Okay.
So we still knew we had to perform, but she
Yeah.
was much more relaxed.
Yeah,
and I
okay, yeah.
liked that because
Yeah.
it wasn't all about making a quid, but I think maybe painters are a bit that way inclined.
Yeah.
We're just not that focused on it.
Yeah, yeah. It sounds good that you're getting some direction from foreman, I reckon. Because
Yeah.
when I work here, I get direction from
Yeah.
I work with Izzy, and she'll just be snapping. And it gives you that, having that direction and the boundaries, it can really help you sometimes to try and fill out what you're trying to do. You might have an idea for something, but unless someone picks up on that idea, you will never know if you're meant to go in that direction, but just to have some boundaries and pushing things out,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
going for more things, yeah.
You've got to
good.
push a bit,
Yeah.
and sometimes they work and you just can't overthink it really.
And in your paintings, you use vases a lot.
Yes.
Are they from vases from home?
Some are,
Yep.
but I never,
Are they actual from life
no.
as well?
No.
Okay.
I
yeah.
might have a whole table filled with all sorts of things from the garden, whether it's foliage or peonies or whatever. But I wouldn't say, I'm going to set up
Okay.
a little vase still life session.
Right, okay.
And no, because I just, it's too constrictive for
Okay,
me.
okay.
I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
if I had to,
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
But I don't.
So what we see in your paintings, you haven't arranged them.
No.
Okay. You've arranged them in your head and then painted them. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
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 definitely.
Yeah, good.
Definitely.
Good. Yeah.
The only time I had to do that sort of stuff when I was doing sort of botanical illustration. And if my brain worked like that and I had to sit there for, you know, everything had to be special and perfect in every brush
Yeah,
stroke, that
yeah.
would be different.
Yeah.
It would drive me crazy. I don't
Yeah.
think I could do it.
No,
I could
no.
do it for a few weeks and then I'd be like, oh,
Yeah.
God, this
Yeah.
is too hard.
And when you're painting, how does it make you feel? Do you feel like you're expressing yourself or that you're doing something that you should be doing? Does it make you feel good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I love it. Oh, well,
Yeah.
I think the colour, using different colours, the mixing of the paint sounds a bit weird, but it's really therapeutic, just mixing colours and, you know, adding tone, saying, okay, well, I've started off with a turquoise, but I'm going to add a little bit of sienna brown to it and get the tonings. Love that.
Yeah.
It's really relaxing. It's almost meditation for me.
Okay, yeah. Do you paint every day?
Absolutely.
Okay,
I
yeah.
didn't today because I had to have clean hair come here.
If you weren't allowed to paint, if someone said no, you're not allowed to paint for a year, what effect would that have on you?
I would probably be straight out into the garden,
Okay.
and I'd be disappointed, but I would just put myself into gardening or something else that was creative.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I'd probably go back doing flowers and
Okay. Yeah.
forestry.
Yeah. Do you garden a lot? Like
I'm out,
every week?
Every day I
Yeah.
would go out and I'd say, oh gosh, that one's about to bust. And
Okay. Yeah.
I'd go into a different garden bed and scratch around and see what's going on. Oh, every day I'm out in
Okay.
the garden.
Yeah.
I'm a bit neurotic about the possums sabotaging it.
Isn't
I'm
everyone?
like, right,
Yeah.
where are they coming
Yeah.
from?
Yeah. Yeah. And just a final question, so I'll have to say, when I came in here this afternoon and the art was hanging, and it's a bit of I just walked in and there was just like this glowing feeling happening from the walls.
Yeah.
It fills the building. We've never had art like this in here before, and it's absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you.
And what do you if you're watching someone looking at your art, what do you hope that they're feeling or thinking or getting from your art?
Well, certainly certain ones like these two here, I
Yeah.
want them to feel, look at the colours and make them feel, you feel good. Sometimes they might be a bit of fun.
Yep.
When you look at different parts of it, you sort of see different scratchings. And then some of them are really calming.
Yeah,
you know, the blues and the greens and the aquas.
Yeah.
And then just for the hell of it, I might throw a bit of, you know, bright pink with a dash of orange just to, you know, jolt us into feeling something else.
Yep.
But yeah, I like them to be fun.
Yeah. It's
And
funny.
not too conservative.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Because they are, I mean, they're still pots and flowers. And sometimes I want you to be able to recognise them.
Yeah.
And then other times go, oh God, I wonder what that flower is.
Yeah.
And sort of walk around going, gee, she's really got something going on there.
Yeah. No, it's fantastic. It's fantastic to have this feeling in the building, I think. You're really drawn to this area now. So
Thank you.
And just in closing, I just wanted to point out what a beautiful job our staff have done setting up, because we've got a beautiful row of camellias behind us. It's just such a beautiful compliment.
They are gorgeous.
Yeah. Also to what you're wearing as well. It's a gorgeous compliment, I think, too. Yeah. So, I don't normally do this. Has anyone got any other questions or comments, or there may be nothing and we can finish up?
And that's okay too.
Yeah. I think that's okay. So thank you so much,
thanks
Rachel,
for having me.
coming
and it's
along.
looking gorgeous. Well done.
Thank you. Well done. Thank you. Okay, good.